Welcome to the Hunter's Advantage podcast, where a group of budget-minded hunters scour the woods for whitetail bucks and whatever other big game is in season. Tune in each week to hear the hilarious public and private land hunting stories and mistake-filled lessons learned. We believe that every hunt brings us closer to God and that we exist to share the good news. And now, your hosts, Christian Babcock and Jake Gaylord.
Welcome back, everybody.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Hunter's Advantage podcast, a rare in-person one with Carroll and Jake. What's up, everybody?
Well, we went golfing today. How was that?
It was fun, but not pretty.
That's a good way to describe it. I mean, we did give Carroll and Colin a bunch of gimmies just to get back in the game.
That is true. That is true. But we ended up tying, so.
We shot 90 as a scramble. That's not too bad.
That is true.
That's horrible. That's horrible.
Not for us. When Carroll started counting it up, it was like the front 90. He's like, all right, plus 12. I was like, there was two of us. How are we plus 12? and we were. But
to be fair, we haven't played in I think we played maybe twice last year, or at least I did.
Yeah. Same with me.
So,
how many times did you play?
Last year, altogether, probably, I don't know, in the last year, probably like 3 times. In the last 6 months, 0 times.
Yeah.
So that was your first game this year?
Yeah, since
here.
October.
Christian's played like 6 times, but it's fine.
I've been hitting the driving range every week, and it's not working. But
Have you actually been
No,
in the driving?
dude.
Okay, I was going to say you drove. You
do
drove
not
pretty
have a
good.
set of
Our
clubs.
average drive, 55, 60 yards.
for the
Colin
team.
clutched up on the end, though.
Yeah, very last hole he clutched up, and I'm like, I needed you on this one.
Thank you, Colin. Colin's gotten so
I
much
was like,
better.
just get us to where we're within 100 yards, and I'll just chip it up there with an 8-iron and put us on the green. 9
And you
times
did.
out of 10. Yeah, I played really good with the chipping and stuff today. But
It was fun.
So you went back and crashed?
oh yeah.
Chrissy,
The king of naps.
did you?
No, we went and saw my mom, my dad's mom, and then we went and we watched the Thunder game. Just enough to get pissed off.
Yeah.
By the way, Luke, I know we have 25% of the audience is from Texas, but Luke is the biggest crybaby
Dude,
I've
I know.
ever seen. He's like, ooh.
Yeah, he goes down the court and he'll be like, "Oh, my leg," and then the announcers will be like, "Oh man, could have been a career-ending injury. We'll see." And then 2 minutes later, he's like,
It's so true.
I didn't know he was 6'9".
He's huge.
"Yeah."
He's the
And then he
biggest
goes
point guard
down.
ever.
He'll he won't play defense because he'll be in the refs' ear like, go down on offense, shoot it. Oh, hold on, splash, and then he'll go right back to the refs.
Hey, the best defense is a great offense.
Yeah, that's true. I'll say it. White boy can ball.
Yeah, he can. He's big.
White boy can ball.
But
So-
I think I could hit 6 for 19. That's all I'm saying.
I know you could. If you shoot enough, you'll get 6. So before the podcast, we've had, have you checked into the messages today?
I've read some emails about the comments on YouTube, if that's what you mean.
Okay. So I've been checking the YouTube a little bit. There's been some stuff come out. It was late yesterday, about the CJ Alexander
And
stuff.
just by the way, Carol, whenever he reads this off, I want you to look at the camera for your reaction.
Yeah, your genuine reaction. So we've had a bunch of YouTube comments. We did a podcast with CJ. What was it? January?
Something like that.
Something like January. Okay, so CJ was he went on the Hunter podcast, and then after the deer was taken, he ended up coming on our podcast and kind of gave his rebuttal. And to be honest, he gave some pretty good rebuttals.
He made you feel sorry for him, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a monster at that.
And he seemed like a good, genuine guy.
Right. Said he struggled with anxiety, kind of, but he had a good answer for pretty much everything we asked him. There was still some things that didn't make sense, but there's been some new news about CJ.
Do you think, because we have got a couple comments, do you think we pushed hard enough during that podcast? Because there was some things that really didn't add up, but, and there's a lot of people saying, oh, you should have,
Really dug in there.
Exactly.
Yeah, I heard some comments from working class saying you could have pushed a little bit harder in certain things, and I think to a certain extent that's true. But what people have to understand is the context of it all. I think I might have been one of the first people to create a video about CJ when he got the buck taken.
Very poorly, yes.
Very poorly, and that video got 60,000 views in 15 hours or something, and it was very accusatory, pretty douchey, to be honest. That's probably the best way to put it. I made a second video.
And it got 30K.
Yeah, 30K. It was a little bit better, but I still felt like this guy's not arrested. We could just talk to him about it. I kind of spoke in the first video, spoke in some absolutes, but we eventually had him on the podcast, got rid of the other 2 videos, had him on the podcast. And by that time, it's like, you kind of feel like you've beat on a guy a couple of times before you have him on. So not that you take it easy on him because but he was already coming from a place of like, you guys are toolboxes. So we were just I was just trying to talk to him. So I'm sure he probably didn't like me when he got on there originally.
Are y'all able to hear his breathing? And A, does his breath stink? Can you smell that?
I can't smell it.
Okay, cool.
Nope. Old rascal.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see him on camera. Okay, no, you can.
No.
He's a 15-year-old Jack Russell. So
he's a dog.
We're just gonna let him be on the couch.
I'm trying to pull up this Outdoor Life article.
Oh, here, just go in through the text messages.
So we've had some people comment on YouTube asking us about the CJ update based on everything that's happened, and we've had some emails, some Instagram DMs. I had a guy today saying, love the podcast. Any update on the CJ thing? And I think people are talking about thoughts.
Carroll, what is your thought? Guilty or not guilty?
Have you kept up with it at all?
Since we really, after watching the video and we talking about it, I think we had a podcast like right after he made that video, or maybe it was like right before. I don't remember the timing. Me, as soon as he said, I forgot my phone, I was like, guilty. I mean, as crappy as it is, but come on, guys. Let's be honest here. We're playing Clash of Clans in the stand. You don't forget your phone going hunting, especially if you're hunting alone. You don't forget your phone. I mean, it's horrible for me to say, but I instantly was like, no.
So, you're saying he's guilty?
With the whole, I don't know the whole entire story. You know, we've heard different things, but when you said like the buck's rack or whatever, the buck had been seen, what was it? Several miles away, like
10 miles,
like
10 plus, yeah.
10 to 15 miles away. That like didn't add up, just especially for around here. You're like, you're not going to have that activity, at least around here. There's a lot of stuff that didn't add up. So no, I thought he was guilty, but at the same time,
But it's funny to see the people's perspective of like, a deer can travel 25 miles in the rut. That is totally and humanly possible.
Yeah, a human can travel 100. A guy can walk 100 miles in a day. But do they? No.
Not usually.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, a deer can travel 20 miles. Yeah, it can. Mm-hmm. But does it? No.
Not usually.
Yeah, not usually at least. So, who knows? And especially a deer of that size. Do you think a deer that size, that old? I mean, obviously it's that size for a reason. It's got to be somewhat smart.
Well, also in a state like Ohio that has baiting in very small parcels, what are the odds that a deer like that walks 10 miles, never seen, never on a trail camera, none of that?
That is true, because just to kind of back it up, there wasn't a lot of trail camera pictures about this
There was
deer.
like one.
Yeah, it was a DA. Wasn't it?
I don't know if it was. I don't think they ever found out. CJ might know, but I don't think they ever nailed down exactly where that trail cam. Yeah, he definitely knows. CJ might know. But I don't think they ever nailed down where that actually was. But it was interesting. Can you pull up the article? I don't have it. My phone is
Here you go.
not working with us. So, Carroll, you know the full story of what? Did you listen to the podcast that we did with him?
It was a while ago. Yeah, I did
in
listen.
January.
I think I was on I think we touched about it.
We had him on the podcast though. Just him.
I don't think I listened to that one.
Okay. Good, then you're unbiased. So Outdoor Life. I originally saw the Instagram post yesterday, and I thought I didn't know if it was like a fake post or something, because those like Outdoor Life _ and it's like could be a little like just slightly fake. I thought it was one of those originally.
But to back up to that podcast we did with them on January, Christian told him, he said, you're either, how'd you word it? You're either the most narcissistic person, or you're telling the complete truth.
You're either the biggest narcissist I've ever met,
or
you're completely innocent, like nothing innocent. And to be fair, what I'm about to read it's not a nail in the coffin per se, but it's getting pretty damn close. So the headline from Outdoor Life article is C.J. Alexander indicted on 23 criminal charges after shooting what could have been the third largest record whitetail ever. The charges include illegally hunting deer without a written permission, hunting without a license, tampering with evidence, jacklighting, which is spotlighting,
Yeah. Okay.
theft, and more. And what's really interesting about it is one of his, I don't know if it's one of his, yes, here it is. This is from the Clinton County grand jury on Friday, which is Clinton County is where CJ's, I think, being tried. It says, evidence revealed Christopher Alexander staged the deer, taking it to the sister's property with the help of Corey B. Honart, something like that, and his brother Zachary R. I'm just going to say H. Honart, to conceal the poaching. So they're basically saying that him, his two buddies, shot the deer 10 miles away and brought it to that property to stage it. That is what the indictment is. That's not a conviction. And CJ, it's funny. I saw CJ was on Instagram today saying, you should pull that up too on Instagram. You should see his reaction to what he said. So this was handed down yesterday, the indictment. And he was already responding to it on Instagram.
Now, don't make fun of me. What is an indictment specifically? Like,
it's basically like you're being charged with these things. And now we're gonna go to court.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The case, like this is what.
Whoa.
Oh, nice. There you go.
Oh shit! Here you go, Carol.
What is that?
My wife.
Carol's wife.
Yeah.
Is it on the HA?
Instagram's a dirty place.
We were playing games the other day, and some guy was like, have you guys seen the TikTok of the guy that, like, he's always with his wife, if it's his girlfriend or his wife, and he, like, just goes out of the way to embarrass her with the Borat thing. He's like, my wife.
Very nice.
Yeah, very nice.
King of the castle, king of the castle.
I have a chair.
So,
My
what are we looking
wife.
at?
Look at his story. So it's CJ Alexander, 55 on Instagram, and his first story is a picture of him and the buck. It says charged but not convicted with the emoji like this emoji. 3 of them. And the song is T Grizzly First Day Out. Okay, for people that don't know, T Grizzly, he's a rapper, and the song First Day Out is a song he made when his first day out of prison. So it's a song basically saying, like, I'm out, I'm free. And that's what CJ is putting on this. Charged but not convicted, and then T Grizzly's First Day Out, that song. He's putting in a song about not going to prison. So what were the, hold on, look at what are
it's just
the lyrics? Oh, okay.
I don't think that matters.
But yeah, so it's interesting because he's indicted, right? They're basically saying this is what we're trying to charge you with. Let's go to court. Oh, is there another story?
He just screenshotted somebody's DM that sent him.
Is it any good? Oh, nice.
I mean, apparently his grandpa just died.
Sorry about that.
Yeah,
that sucks. That really sucks.
Anyways, back to me.
Yeah. So, indictment. I think people are looking for a giant update. Basically, what we're hearing of that is he's getting charged. It's happening.
It's going to court.
It's going to court, and he can defend it. So he seems still to be very confident. I mean, a charge is not a conviction. But what are you guys' thoughts? Do you think it kind of seems like if they want it, it's going to happen from the judicial level?
So I don't know how all it works, but, like, this is the first, like, you can pick judge or jury, right? Like, how all does that work? Because, like,
I'm not a lawyer.
Your dad's a cop.
Was a cop. He quit being one. He didn't know the law.
I don't know how all that would work because, like, at the end of the day, like, off the movies that I watch don't lie, obviously. But, like, if it's a jury, like, everyone, right? Everyone has to say, yeah, you're convicted. Everyone has to say, like, you're guilty.
Everyone or just, I think, a certain percentage?
I thought it was everyone.
I think it's everyone.
I think it's everyone.
Because if they can't get everyone to do it, it's called a hung jury. And so they usually have to do a retrial.
Really?
I'm not a lawyer.
Yeah, I don't know how it works.
If you're coming to a hunting podcast to look for legal advice, you got to.
Yeah.
I think it could very easily be convinced to someone that has no idea what the hell is going on. Mm-hmm. But, like, if you get it in a room of, like, I don't know, non-ignorant people about hunting and stuff, you're just like, yeah, no way. Yeah, no way. There's no way this is true. But because, like, instantly, when we heard the story and we talked about it and we went over that, I was like, come on, dude. No way.
But if it is a jury trial, right, I feel like the jury needs some sort of knowledge on deer and deer behavior, right? Because let's say
Yeah.
it goes to trial and it's like, oh, hey, there's a possibility that this deer could be 10 miles from where the trail camera photo was, because they could pull up that buck 140, right? How it traveled across the Mississippi and then back, and then like it was like 8, I forget the amount miles to and from, but it was way over like 20 miles, I think. And from a biased or a non-biased jury, right, that doesn't really know much about deer hunting, it's like, oh, hey, they have research data that backs a deer can travel more than 10 miles. Like, they don't know. You know what I mean? Like, they don't know, so how are they going to figure that out?
Well, and look at the you can look at the mule deer studies, because I remember when we were doing those informational TikToks, there was one deer that they were studying in, I think it was Wyoming, that migrated like 120 miles. Like, it traveled. That was like one of the longest deer voyages that had ever existed. It's a different subspecies of deer, but to someone that doesn't understand, you could say, well, there's one deer that traveled 120 miles. Oh, 10? That's not that bad. 10? That's a hop, skip, and a jump for a... So I agree. I don't know how you get in there and listen to the evidence and make a decision if you don't know anything about deer. That's kind of interesting. I also don't know anything about trapping or shooting people. But
is it going to be like a jury, though?
It should be.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how any of that works. So,
Well,
but yeah, like I said, right off the bat, like, I think the whole it's so crappy to say, but it was like, well, I forgot my phone this hunt, and just like not any, like, nothing
that
was
article
adding
back
up. But like nothing was.
that's the thing, though. If he says he forgot the phone, because Christian, didn't you read it and didn't you say that?
I was going to read that part.
Okay.
Yeah. What were you saying about the phone?
Oh, I was just saying, like, at least for our generation, if it's a 70-year-old man and he's walking from his house, to a stand that's 100 yards away, it's on the ground. Yeah, maybe he can grab his phone.
But those are the kind of people that you walk into their house, you're like, I shot 1 or 10 170s, never put a picture out, don't care.
Yeah.
You remember Carol came over to my grandpa's house one time, and there was a 178-inch buck that a guy had cut off at the base of the neck. It had like a 20-inch extra main beam, third main beam coming off, and he shot it with his rifle. And
just had it chilling in the back of his
yeah,
truck.
just chilling in the back of his truck.
I was like, this thing's huge. He's like,
170-inch deer.
oh, it was like mid 170s. Yeah, and it had a triple main beam. And I was like,
was he a farmer?
I think he might have been.
Yeah.
He was one of my grandpa's friends, and I asked him, I was like, can I score that deer? And he let me. And it was like, yeah, it was mid 170s. He had shot it with his rifle and just cut it at the base of the neck and threw it in the back of his truck. It was just sitting there. So there are situations like that happen. But this guy's CJ's not an old guy. So here's an interesting quote. This is a press release from the Ohio Attorney General's. It's in the Outdoor Life article, and it says, quote, wildlife officers discovered through warranted searches of cell phone data that Christopher Alexander had illegally hunted the trophy buck on a private property about 10 miles from his sister's land, and later learned that the written permission from his sister he had presented to the wildlife officers had been falsified after the deer was killed to mislead authorities, which is interesting because they're also charging his sister. More of the article says the Clinton County grand jury was handed down the indictment on Friday. Evidence revealed Christopher Alexander staged the deer, taking it to the sister's property with the help of his friend Corey and Zachary to conceal the poaching.
are there any other articles over this that you know of?
They're coming out now.
Outdoor
okay.
Life is pretty well.
I was
very, very
I was going
reputable.
to say, because this might be one of those that you're just like, clickbait. I doubt it.
No, they've been
but-
reporting on it since the beginning.
Okay.
Outdoor Life's very, very reputable publication. But this is the charges as follows. So 5 counts of illegally hunting deer without written permission, which that's kind of interesting because it's like your sister's getting charged with aiding, but you also didn't have written permission. How can you not have written permission? Yes, the person who owns the property is helping you.
So in Ohio, do you need written permission if you do not own the land?
I'm not sure, but you remember when we talked to CJ, there was a thing with the shared ownership of the property. It wasn't just his sister. It was like his sister and her mom, which happened to be his half-sister. So like,
Okay, yeah, but that's stupid.
but yeah.
Yeah, like sweep that underneath the rug, like.
Yeah, but then again, if they have them just head over heels like found guilty, it's like, why not make a
Example?
Example out of it,
I was
yeah.
gonna say, like, is that a big deal? No, I think that's taken away of the what's happening in front of you. But like, this is gonna be a big. This is like,
what did it say? Is it the third largest?
Yeah, it's the third largest whitetail.
Yeah.
This is gonna
that's
this is gonna be like, dude, you're gonna lose your house, your gun, your car. You ain't gonna be able to hunt again for the rest of your life, man.
Well, and the other charges, so taking possession of a deer in violation of a division rule, 3 counts of theft by deception. Sorry, first day with my new tongue. Theft, first day with my new tongue. 2 counts each of hunting without a license, hunting without a valid deer permit, and tampering with evidence. And the last one is 1 count of jacklighting, theft, falsification, and sale of wildlife parts. They threw the book. They are throwing the
As they should.
book as they should. As they should. Here was one that I saw from Basement Decorator that he talked about. He said, why would you go out and hunt and go on 2 major podcasts to talk about the deer if you didn't even have a license? He's saying they're saying he didn't even have a license. That's what they're saying. He does not. He was hunting without a license or a valid deer permit.
Listen, guys, we wouldn't be able to do the podcast if it wasn't for you all. So we just want to say that you guys are greatly appreciated, and thank you for following along each week.
And speaking of support, we are partnered with Out on a Limb Manufacturing, and I can tell you from firsthand experience, Matt and Chase are great, down-to-earth guys, and they make some of the best saddle hunting products out there. Whether you're looking for a set of climbing sticks or a mobile, lightweight, hang-on tree stand, or maybe you're even a one-sticker.
You mean tree Pilates?
Yes, tree Pilates. If you've been to the grocery store or the gas station lately, you know that Uncle Joe is doing his absolute worst to take all your money. That's why we need hunting gear that lasts year after year. And trust me, I've been rocking the same Out on a Limb Shakar climbing sticks for 4 years and the Ridge Runner 2.0 saddle hunting platform for a few years as well. This gear is built to last.
We can confidently say that Out on a Limb is the best bang for your buck.
And it's the best gear if you want to deflate a big old buck.
Ooh. Make sure you use code HNTA15 at outonalimbmfg.com for 15% off anything on their website.
So if you can show them the same support that you guys show us, please go to outonalimbmfg.com and use code HNTA15 for 15% off at checkout. Now let's get back to the podcast.
That's crazy, if that's true. I mean, it could or not be, but that there was and I think I saw on his Instagram story yesterday something he posted that had his hunting license on it.
I wonder if it was, obviously he probably shot it with a rifle, right? Yeah. So I wonder if it wasn't rifle season, but maybe he had like a bow tag or something like that. And so therefore, since he shot it with a rifle, he didn't have a rifle tag. Maybe they're trying to do it that way.
Hit him over the head with one more thing.
Maybe.
Yeah. Those are the charges though. But his buddy is facing 8 charges. Corey.
23 counts though.
That's the book. Yeah. They're bringing down the hand of God on him. His buddy got 4 counts of aiding a wildlife offender, 2 counts of hunting without permission, 1 count of tampering with evidence and falsification, and the other buddy, who's the brother of Corey, faces 2 misdemeanor counts of aiding a wildlife offender, and his sister, Christina, faces 1 count of falsification and 1 count of aiding a wildlife offender.
Gonna ruin a friendship, a family.
I wonder what all this will consist of. Is it jail time? Is it prison time? Obviously there's going to be a big restitution, right?
Yeah, hunting's a joke. A joke in a lot of eyes to people. Like, they'll probably be like, I don't know what they'll do.
There's definitely going to be restitution, but let's say he can't pay that restitution. What happens then?
I don't know. You see a lot of people. Interesting what Carol's talking about is a jury going to see the value of a deer in the same way that because people as outdoorsmen are like, that's one of the biggest deer ever, F you.
Yeah.
Right.
This is literally what it's like. It's like you winning the lottery, but you cheated to do it.
Is it going to be held in Ohio though?
Yes, in the Clinton County.
So Ohio's, that's a whitetail haven. So you would think a jury, especially from that county, right? They're going to be pissed off. The DA, I don't know, this is all speculation, but there was talks of it being on his property.
Yep.
He probably has some pull. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, so they're talking about
they'll probably get the right people in the jury, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. There's nothing dirtier than politics either. Yeah. I noticed that with soon when my dad ran for chief of police here, and that was the first time they ever had to do 2 elections because there were fraudulent votes in an election. And I'm like, how are there fraudulent votes in a city where 800 people voted? Like, are you serious? That's a joke. There was like 6 fraudulent votes, so they had to redo the entire election, which he won the next time anyways. But it's like, politics are disgusting. I'm not saying CJ doesn't deserve this if he did that. That's not what I'm saying, but because he did. But yeah, it could. If the DA, imagine the guy whose property it shot up, prosecutes it. He's throws the book at him. So yeah, it's saying over the course of the 5-month investigation, Alexander repeatedly said that he has been wrongfully accused and doubled down on his claims that he took the buck legally on his sister's property, which is. It's crazy. I
mean, he's still fighting the good fight. You know what I mean? On his story, he was like indicted but not charged.
And he's right.
Chill out, OJ.
I mean, to be completely fair, there's not anything different today than there was a few days ago. Like besides them coming down with charges on him, he's not. Everyone right now is like, oh, he's going to jail. He's doing that.
Right.
Nothing is different today than besides the charges of like, hey, now we got our ducks in a row. This is the book we're throwing.
Yeah,
at
but
you.
that's the thing. They wouldn't do that unless they had stuff to go off of. You know what I mean?
And that's what I want to know.
Yeah.
We still won't know the evidence. Like I don't think they're going to live stream it or anything.
That's the thing. Before it was like, well, it's been all this time. Maybe they have something. Maybe they don't. Maybe they're just like trying to run around with the deer to. I don't know. But now it's like they have stuff now.
They're pretty confident.
Yeah, 24 counts. Like they have stuff regardless of whether he comes. I mean, regardless of what happens, he's not going to come out scotch-free.
Well, you also have to think of course, they have stuff if they're going to come at him because, like, they're not going to waste time and money and resources doing it.
And they obviously took their time.
Yeah, I was going to
They
say that
took
was
their time.
the biggest thing is they took their time.
Well, because the cemetery buck was shot after CJ's buck, and that's already taken care of. That's already wrapped up.
Which I think that one was a lot more cut and dry. Like they got him, caught him with his pants down, and it was over. Like CJ allegedly did a better job of covering it up, at least in that time. But so they asked the ODNR. They said at the time the Ohio DNR declined to comment on any charges or pending legal actions against Alexander, citing its policy for not discussing all ongoing investigations. Then on February 6th, notice of appearance by attorney for Alexander was filed, indicating that Alexander has legal counsel. So he's supposed to appear in court later this month. That's what's supposed to happen with it. The case will be prosecuted by attorneys from the state's environmental enforcement section, and it's unclear who's going to represent CJ. So basically what we got is they're throwing the absolute book. They threw the book at him. It sounds like it's going to trial this month, and it is all of what everyone is talking about right now. Every page is posting his picture, this was poached, and then linking to an article to talk about it, which it's what happens in deer hunting, but it's what we're doing right now on a podcast. But that's what
it's fun to talk about.
It is fun to talk about. It's fun to speculate. But still, even now, I think about it like this. Let's say he's indicted, right? Let's say he goes in and he gets charged and he goes to jail or gets the fines or whatever. There are still going to be a large swath of people that are going to say, just because you get charged with something doesn't mean you did it.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you did it.
No.
And
I don't care about nothing but the time.
exactly.
But here's a good question, and just sitting here out of hearing all this and thinking about it, at what point, if you shoot a 200-inch deer, do you stop, grab your phone, and call the game warden and say, I just shot a 200-inch deer, get your ass here, because this ain't happening to me.
Right then.
I'm not touching anything. I'm not leaving my stand until you get here. And talk to him on the phone the entire time and be like, no, I'm not. We're not doing this. We're not doing. Cool thing about us is we're gonna have at least some video of me like, oh my god, trying to get the camera together or just something. But like, at what point are you like, get here?
If
now.
they charged, what's his buddy's name, Corey? If he's also charged with them, like surely they got his phone and then they got some sort of ping off of it from that one
Yeah.
picture.
Right. Well, one of the quotes said that they had the one picture is an interesting thing, right? So there was allegedly a harvest picture that Corey took, right? CJ told us about that Corey took his buddy at CJ's sister's place where they shot the buck allegedly. Mm-hmm. And what Jake and I talked to him about on the podcast was that is either your saving grace because it's going to show you were there, or it could be somewhere else. So even though, and they could take the buck there, take a picture and stage it, right? But what if that one picture was like, oh, CJ, I got to get a picture before we get it out. You know what I mean? Like, this is insane. Mm-hmm. Took a picture and it's at another property. That was another one that he, what did he say about that? Did he ever address it? What's up, Miyagi?
Yeah, I think the phone thing, it just really bothers me because I'm sitting here, and we're relapsing over and over. He didn't forget his phone. He left his phone.
That's what people say, yeah.
He didn't forget it. He left it. Also, think about it. You've got no communication. You can't tell anybody. You have so much time. Your phone's pinging. Like, my phone's right here. I'm at Dave's house. Next thing you can do, like, you have so much time in between before you can text somebody. Be like, hey, I just got home. Just got my phone. I just shot him. Mm-hmm. You have a window period of so much time that there's no evidence until, there's no evidence that you did it. There's no evidence that you didn't until you get back home and find that line of communication.
Well, and that article says that they did have his phone. That he did have his phone on the other property. Yeah, that they geotagged it at the other property where he shot the deer. That's what they said. So he did have. They're saying that he did have his phone.
That's what that article said?
That's what the article said.
Yeah, so this makes a lot more sense then. Yeah. Like I said, I'm not going to keep harping on it, but
did he? Okay, was it pinged where they found the knives and stuff too?
I don't know that. I think that's why the Ohio Ohio DNR did not comment. Obviously, it's an ongoing investigation. They're not going to comment. What I'm curious of is, like, there's going to be tens of thousands of people who love deer hunting. They're like, live stream the trial, live stream the trial, because I want to see. Selfishly, I want to see what they actually have, because Outdoor Life is not going to know what the Ohio DNR has on CJ, especially, but they're not going to. That's like having a revolver or 6 bullets. You're not using any of them until the bad guy comes in.
Yeah.
So
let's say he did it. Why do you guys think he went on 2 podcasts?
It's a confidence thing.
A confidence thing that you think that he thinks he's going to get away with it, or is it just
I mean, like, dude, think about how bad it would look like if you shot this and you're like, I'm not doing podcasts. Let's go talk about it.
Luke Brewster did.
So,
Luke Brewster shot a 330-inch. Remember that non-typical in Illinois that had, like, the tree coming out one side, and Luke Brewster shot that, and I have not seen a single podcast with him. I don't think he takes podcasts, and I don't know anything about Luke.
Well, we know. Okay.
I've tried to message him.
He didn't message back. Okay, that's all we're saying.
But I don't think that's. I don't think that's unique to us. I haven't seen him on anything. So you do have that option. But like when we were talking to Chad Jones, basically he shot a 200 mid 230s type deer in Texas, and he had buddies that he hadn't posted a picture that day that he shot it that were telling him, hey, you need to get on and post a picture of this deer on social media because people think you poached it. They literally think you poached it already. If you have a 200-inch deer and you shoot one, like, the second your arrows release, if you have cell phone service and it's a good hit, get over here. I shot a 200.
Especially the one that big.
The problem I have with game wardens here is I tried calling to ask questions and stuff, and I would go down every single county. I don't care who you got to send. Get here till one of them answers. I'll call you 100 times. Like, I'm not moving. I'm not leaving. I'll freaking sit here and video myself until you get here.
I just think that with the amount of people involved, the sister's mom, who was the co-owner of that property. So with that, with their sister, with Corey, with that Zach fellow that was also charged apparently.
Yeah, the brother of Corey.
You would think that that's just what bothers me. There would be more pictures. You have 3, young adults there. Mm-hmm. And where's the pictures? Where's the pictures? 3 young adults, the biggest deer. Like, I don't care who you are. If you've seen that, it's like, what is a moose doing in Ohio? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So just the lack of pictures right there. And I know people's going to be like, well, not everybody just lives through their phone or something like that. That's not what we mean. Everybody has buddies, and deer hunting is, it's something you want to share the experience with. Yeah.
If you guys shoot a 200, I'm going to look like the paparazzi. Woo! Yeah. Phone in this hand, camera in this hand.
Another angle.
Hey, put this GoPro
angle.
on. Yeah. I'm going to have every single angle. Yeah, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And we asked CJ about that. We were like, dude, you would have took a picture. There's no way you would have. He's like, man, I just didn't. That's what he said.
You don't think about it.
Yeah,
You're
man.
Just such in awe.
Which, I have never shot a 230, so I don't know either. But with the game warden thing though, there's been. You say you've tried to call Oklahoma game wardens before?
Yeah.
And how did that go for you?
What were the situations? Like someone was out trespassing or poaching, or
No, one of the situations was the refrigerator. When we knew, like, hey, he's not good eating. He's not good eating.
trying
He's
to get a salvage
old.
tag or what?
Yeah, well, not even that. Just letting him like, hey, I'm gonna shoot this deer. He's not good eating. What if you tell me what to do, and I'll do it. But I'm gonna shoot him, and I don't mind cleaning him, but I'm not gonna eat him. So like,
What was the matter with him?
he had that big old cancer, dude, and he had
basketball.
freaking rubs all over him, and they had that big old tumor / cancer on him. Where I'm like, yeah, no. Deer's also probably 7.5 years old. You're like, yeah, he's gonna die, whether it's my arrow or that cancer or something. The cancer got him. Which, by the way, the viewers, cancer got him.
Yeah, he did he got. We've tried to call Oklahoma game wardens too. We got in a situation on public land with turkeys before where there was a piece of public parking that was landlocked by private, and I guess what had happened was the state had given over the land back to the private landowner to maintain the road, so people couldn't go to the piece of public because it was landlocked. And we called a couple game wardens when we got confronted by about 10 people running dogs during turkey season, which is completely illegal. We called one game warden, and what I realized when you call a game warden is like, dude, you call a guy at 8 or 9 p.m., he's a human who has a normal life too.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, hey, I'm at my daughter's basketball game. I'm not dropping that to go talk to a dude that's turkey hunting or hunting with dogs. I don't care. Yeah. And you call the next guy.
But what he said was, we've gotten some complaints about that, but we're gonna have to
set up a sting,
and try to catch them. We're like, well, they're here, and
I see them right now.
Yeah.
That's all he said was yeah. And
will this get you here? By the way, I'm spotlighting tonight. Here's my, and I'm doing it right now. I got a rifle out the window. You coming now?
That'll make you really fear the game wardens a lot less when you know somebody's doing something illegal and they're like, well, I'm kind of busy at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the thing is like most every single time I've called a game warden, it's been like midday on a Saturday, and I'm like, they're probably like hanging out with family or fishing or doing like.
If it's turkey season or something like that, understandable because turkey's gay, right? But if it's deer season or something, it's like this is like your game time. You know what I mean? Like this isn't your off season.
It's your playoffs.
This is where you need to be on, and especially on a Saturday. Everybody's where most people's off on a Saturday, so there's going to be hunting. So like if that's the case, get your butt here.
Mm-hmm. Well, I remember we talked to the one guy. His daughter was doing something, which, hey, I don't expect everybody to respond all the time. But we went down the list to the next guy and called the next game warden, and he was like, well, I'm about 40 minutes away. I don't think I'm going to make that drive tonight. I'm like, okay, that sounds good. But then I've also dealt with game wardens up in northern Oklahoma. Spencer Grace was one of them that I called him one time, and he was like on it in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So there's good, not that there's good and there's bad, but those are people too. And I don't know. Like, they're not, what I'm saying is if you shoot a 200-inch deer, they're not always going to just drop everything that they're doing and come help you out because you did something legally.
Yeah, but you would think moving forward with all this flack and,
right.
All the accusations and the way social media is and all that stuff that they would understand. It's like, hey, I just now did something crazy. You get down here right now because I'm not about to get put through the ringer for no reason.
Yeah. They need to have like a big deer checklist. What would be really embarrassing is I would shoot one. I'd be like, it's a 220. It's the biggest deer I've ever seen. And they'd be like, this is a 160. You maybe drive an hour.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's a really nice buck. Like we shot those bucks. We had 290 inches of buck in the tailgate, and a biologist drives by and goes, "Yeah, those are nice. You better get them clean before."
Yeah. He was like, "Yeah, the decent ones are moving, huh?" And it's like,
Where are the big ones?
Okay.
Where are the big ones? Yeah, it's crazy. I think we'll get some more answers this month, and
how long do you think that takes? Like,
dude.
the indictment process.
If you got a good lawyer and stuff, like they can string this crap out. Like that's the thing is like the law. Like if you have a really good lawyer, I do know this, that they can find anything like to push something off, get rid of it, /
His
lengthen
shoes
out
were
the
untied
process.
when he was
Yeah.
walking.
Yeah, lengthen
2
out
more
the
weeks.
process. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think there's a lot of if you read the stuff or look at the stories or the posts that are made right now about a lot of the popular outdoor pages, it basically is like, "See, you dirty motherfucker! I knew he did it. It's over. He's done." We're not to that point yet with the stuff. Like they're charging him, but it's not over. You know, like you mentioned O.J. Simpson earlier. People are like, he did it,
Yeah.
but he didn't legally.
Did he do it?
Legally, he didn't.
Yeah. He did it. He did it.
He
But
did it,
he did it. But like, could they prove he did it? No. Have you guys seen? You know Nate? He's the Canadian. I can't think of his last name.
Nate, the comedian, yeah.
Dude, he does an awesome. I think it's him where he's like, oh, if you took me back before time, like in the 1920s,
He's like super passive or whatever.
He's like, I couldn't prove that I'm from the future. He's like, yeah, we got these cell phones, and they're like, what's a cell phone? He's like, well, it's like a mobile device. He's like, what's a mobile device? He's like, well, there's satellites, and like, what's a satellite? He's like, yeah, I can't prove that I'm from the future. Like, there's no way. He's like, I literally couldn't prove. And it just reminds me of that, where he's like, he could be in it. He's probably not innocent. He's not innocent. But like, if you're innocent, how do you prove that you are? Like, that's the crappy thing about this whole thing is like, it's harder to prove that you are innocent.
Well, luckily, it's innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah, I agree. I mean,
Not in the court of public opinion.
No, but that's
true.
That's with anything though. I mean, social media wise, if you get caught in the crosshairs, good luck.
Well, let a deer get confiscated. 90% of people will be like, you did it.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have took it for no reason. And I'm not saying that's what's happening now because they're throwing God's book at CJ right now. They're trying to hit. They're not like going for a single or a bunt. They're hitting a home run.
So, I think they listened to the Hunter podcast probably, and like he was doing everything, including throwing names under the bus to the public. And so, like, why wouldn't they do the same to him? You know what I mean? Like he was doing everything in power. Like, if he's going down, he's bringing people down with him, or at least trying to. And so, like, why wouldn't they?
You're talking about when he talked about the game wardens.
Yeah, just everything.
Everybody.
The DA.
The judge.
Yeah.
Yeah, the judge. Yeah. I don't. Maybe that's the reason why it took so long. They're like, I'm going to destroy this guy.
We're going to do it, and we're going to do it perfectly.
Like, we're going to wait till it is a soft toss home run that I can pimp over the outfield.
I was going to say they might just be waiting. That's why it took so long, where they're like, yep, there is. And it doesn't matter how good of a lawyer. We got you, bud. Like,
yeah,
we got you. You can try to string it out, but they're going to have a rebuttal probably. And then we might get in there, and they might just absolutely be like, well, I don't know. Maybe he did it. But
I think this is I don't know what you guys thought when you first saw the deer, but that was the biggest shock value I've ever had on a deer. Like,
just
seeing the frame, like in the back of the truck, I was like, that's not real.
I thought somebody like fabricated the skull plate or something. Like
have you seen the April Fool's jokes where they like give a deer like 30-inch tines?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh,
photoshopped it.
Yeah, that deer legitimately looked fake. And when they brought it on the Hunter podcast and they held it up and he was holding it like this,
how much do you think that thing weighs?
Dude, so heavy. I just think about the buck that I shot this year and how much heavier that rack was.
Jake Schumann's buck, though.
Yes, Jake Schumann's buck. It felt like 10 pounds.
Yeah.
I bet CJ's was way bigger than that. Way bigger than that. But if you poach one like that and think you can get away with it, I think that's about the most narcissistic thing that you could ever do. I don't know how you could ever think you'd get away with that. Not only even if you shot it, took it, put it in your garage, said nobody say anything, this never happened, and you move on, never told a soul, I think you'd still get in trouble for it. You'd still get
You think so?
Probably.
I bet you.
Yeah, dude.
I bet
word
there's a
would
few
still
out
get
in a garage.
But like, how could you? Yeah, how
That aren't
could,
230
Yeah,
though.
you would have to. when people come over or anything, you'd be like, I got to move this
pride
freaking
thing.
mount. Yeah, I got to move this mount. Like, no way. No way would that even, it's not even remotely close to doing. Like, even for the core values, but even like to showboat, it's just not even worth it.
What really sucks is that deer existed and he was killable.
He got killed. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was killable.
Yeah, but it could have been done legally, and that would have been a crazy opportunity for, an average Joe hunter.
And from the outside looking in, it was for a while. That's what, when everybody thought it was legit or allegedly legit, everybody was like, dude, this is an amazing story. Average Joe guy, barely owns he doesn't even own a bow, borrows a crossbow, borrows a climber, goes and shoots a buck on 30 acres. Everyone's like, this is the American deer hunter's dream.
Yeah.
But doesn't seem like a dream now. Now it seems like a nightmare. Yeah. Seems like a big nightmare.
Ate some bad pizza before we went to bed, I guess.
Yeah, he ate some Taco Bell and got messed up. But
what a story.
I don't think you could make it this crap up if you wanted to write a movie. I really don't. Like, taking it, and then Thomas Stamper made some really good points in his story when he said, if you did poach this deer, why would you road show it? Why would you drive it around? Why would you show people? Why would you go on podcasts to defend yourself? Why would you do that?
Do you think he could have kept this thing like somewhat under wraps if like he did it and he was like, hey, he kind of like, once he figured out like, hey, I'm probably going to get caught. What if he turned himself in and was like, hey, I just seen it. I got, big-eyed. I made a mistake. Can we, like, let's figure out the situation. Because, like, I completely regret it. It was a mistake. Do you think they could have, like, not kept it under wraps per se, but not have 20, 23, 24, charges thrown against them?
I think I think that's why they're making such an example of it, because of how it was roadshowed and messaged. Like, how deeply he dug. When, like, you see on cop shows where, like, tell me if you got anything on you. If you do, it's going to be a lot easier than if you lie to me. And it's like when they lie to him, they're like, now get out of the car and put your face on the concrete. And
I've been there, yeah.
Yeah,
I've been on ride-alongs where one of my family members was like, dude, I'm giving you a chance. Mm-hmm. I'm giving you a chance. I will take it. I will throw it away. You're all good to go. Just don't lie to me. And they, like, I'm giving you an actual chance. And they lie. And he's like, got it. Put your hands behind your back. It's like, dude, eat it if you have to. Just get rid of it. Something. Like, he's giving you a chance.
Have you ever seen, like, any of them resist why they do that? Like, a guy lies and he's like, come on, man.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, multiple. We had when I went on. I've been on 2 or 3 ride-alongs, and we've had runners and stuff that are like, dude, awesome. It's awesome.
And were any of those a result of like your cousin saying, "Just be honest with me, and then they like get out and take off running?
Yeah, one of the runners down on the strip. He was like, "You 21?" Like, all he had to do is like be like, "No, I'm not, and I'm sorry." Like, all right, pour your beer out. Give it to me. Throw away your can. And I don't want to see you again. You're like, go home. And the guy was like, I'm 21. I'm lying. And then he's like, get his ID out. Goes to get his ID out and just takes off. You're just like, bruh. Like, first of all, you're not outrunning these guys.
Is your family member pretty fast?
Faster than any. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was it a good slam?
Yeah, it was a good. Well,
hit stick or no?
So
hit stick.
Yeah. It was there was 2. We watched one guy steal some stuff from the food pyramid and take off, and then we watched one guy was chasing him, and we got to flip on the sirens and go down the Hall of Fame.
Oh, okay. Yep.
And my cousin opens up the door, gets out, and the guy, of course, is already tired. And I mean, just a crisp double leg, hands locked, just slam. And I was like, oh man. Yeah, the guy was literally sitting there on the ground. Like when you get the breath taken out of you and you're like, you just can't breathe. That dude was awesome.
Well, I bet you already had him flipped around and like handcuffed before he even knew he hit the ground.
Oh no, he made sure he got the ground in there. But anyways, long story short, yeah, I think that's why they're dropping the ball. Is this guy was, I mean, he's probably, can't say he did right yet, but just been lying about stuff. If he has been, he's just been lying about it and taking it and running with it. So now they're just like, hey, if I see, to answer your question, that if we would have came out and been like, yeah, I messed up, they're probably obviously going to take the deer. No doubt, 100%.
There's going to be a lot of articles.
Yeah, I think it would have probably been not so serious. But since it's like he's been running with it and just...
It would have been somewhat like...
This is assuming that they do charge him.
Right.
This is assuming, 100%. By the way, this is assuming they do charge him.
We're just speculating and BSing.
Think about it like this. Think about you're the guy that's investigating this. You're one of the lead investigators. You're going home every night to your wife, and there's a guy going on podcasts telling you, they ain't got nothing on me. My dad was an investigator. If they had something, they'd say it. Like, those people are humans too. They're like, if I ever get the chance to get this guy, I'm not button. I'm hitting a bomb. Hitting a bomb.
Everybody's seen Suits, right?
Yeah.
Like, you mess with Harvey's going to mess right back. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And that's a classic case of what's happening right here.
At the Hunter's Advantage, we live by the KISS slogan.
You were not supposed to tell them that.
No, I meant we like to keep it simple, stupid. All jokes aside, Exodus is the definition of keeping it simple. Let's say you aren't really sure what arrow setup you should run. The Exodus Arrow Builder will help you build the right arrows for your exact setup.
Or if you don't have time to change those trail cam batteries in the dog days of summer, Exodus has a great selection of cell cameras and regular trail cameras, and if you pair them with one of their solar panels, you'll be set for a long while. I've shot over a dozen deer and a big old black bear in Saskatchewan with these arrows, and I trust them to fly right and get the job done. And they have something for everyone with the Exodus NIS micro diameter arrows or the Exodus MMTs.
So if you want to save money on Exodus arrows, cell cameras, or anything else they got on their website, make sure to check out ExodusOutdoorGear.com and use code HA10 for 10% off.
Once again, that's ExodusOutdoorGear.com, and make sure to use code HA10 for 10% off at checkout. Now let's get back to the podcast.
I mean, they obviously confiscated the deer. I think when they confiscated it, they took it. That was CJ's chance to be like, okay,
right,
I lied.
Yeah,
I lied.
I've already lost it.
Now,
I lost the deer.
This is what I was going to say. It would have been like, it wouldn't have been acceptable for what he done. Like, people would still give him heck and all that stuff, but it would have been understandable, though. I think people would have like understood, like, hey, you know, I did make a mistake. So yes, there would have been a stir, but in the end, it wouldn't have caused this much of a.
That the dragging it out is what's made it so interesting, because it's like he kills the buck, tells the story, they take it, he tells the story again, doubles down. It's like in blackjack when you got 11, like you get two aces, you split them, and you're like split, and then you get it, you're like double. But imagine you got like 6 aces and you double on them all or something. Like, that's what he did. He was like double, triple, quad down.
I have no money left and in my bank account. This is it.
He went all in on one hand, and it's seeming like they said, Matumbo at the rim, no, we got you.
Yeah, dealer flipped to 20.
Must have had the dealer at Broken Bow.
Yeah, dealer flips to 20. You got to have a 21 on all of them to win, bud.
Yeah. That's what's happening in this situation. So,
but at what point, too, like, do you think outside the box of, like, do you take it to where you're the villain now, where you're like, hey, I might get in some deep crap over this, but I'm going to be on podcasts. I'm going to be on this. I'm going to be on that. Like, I'm going to be the villain, like, of hunting. Because people are still going to have you on podcasts.
The Charles Beatty?
Yeah. He's going to be, like, he's going to be the villain, possibly, of our generation.
That's a hard comparison.
Ooh.
That's a hard comparison.
I'm just saying, like, some people think
Charlie
way ahead
and
of
CJ,
No. I'm not saying.
No, I'm not saying. I was talking
comparing
about
him.
Christian.
I'm not
That
saying.
was a joke.
I'm not comparing him to Charlie, but I'm just saying, like, in the grand scheme of things,
he's saying he could lean into that persona. It's like, I lied, but I got
just
caught,
kind of
who cares?
Yeah.
Of like, I'm the villain. I'm popular. People know who I am now. They might not like me, but by God, they know.
Well,
who I
then
am.
if you want to talk about throwing the book, if that's what he's going to do, then they're really going to throw the book. Like, they're going to shut that mother.
But I wonder what the book is on hunting. Are you going to go to jail? Like, obviously, it's a felony.
Yes.
Right. But how long are they going to keep you in a jail or a prison for a deer?
But that's the thing. Can they even put him in prison?
I don't know that. It's a hunting podcast. I don't know.
Let us know in the comments.
Some lawyers like, my head hurts. They don't know
I bet
anything.
CJ's lawyer's scratching his head. It's like, damn it. Like,
I told you not to go on that podcast, and you did. But there is a small subset of call it the hunting community that's like, I love when a big deer run the hunting industry. I love when one gets killed in the wrong way. There's a bunch of people out there like that too. Like there's the outlaw folks. So nothing but the tide. Yeah, I ain't a piss about nothing. But yeah, it's crazy. I don't know if we'll see another one like this.
it's just, there's not a lot for the hunting community to talk about, especially like turkey season's wrapping up. You know, we're going to have the dog days of summer. I mean, what are you going to do? Talk about summer scouting and stuff like that? It's like that crap gets old. And if this case happens during the summer, it's like, here we go. All eyes are on this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. God bless CJ. He's got an uphill battle. It sounds like he has an uphill battle. And it's like, you know, you hear people talk about it all the time. It's like the one person you don't want to go to battle with is the government. You don't want to owe the IRS money because they have unlimited resources. That's what he's dealing with here. It's like, I don't know how good your lawyer is. I don't know. He could be literally Harvey from Suits. But I wouldn't want to be going against this, especially because it's not like, well, just admit that you spotlighted it when you shot it.
And you want to talk about him having anxiety? Like, what's
Lord.
that like now? I have anxiety for him right now, and I don't even have nothing to do with it.
He must be married. Must be a married man.
Yeah. I don't know. It seems like he's a guy. There's 11 guys in a room. He's the one in the corner, and there's 10 guys walking towards him like we're about to get you. But he's still out there like, nah, I'm going to get you guys. You know, he's still got that, hey, if there's anything you can admire, it's that do or die attitude.
Chihuahua mentality. You ever mess with a Chihuahua? Dude, those things are like demons.
Yeah, they're 6 pounds, but they got the heart of a lion.
Yeah.
They literally are. Yeah. We'll see.
It'll be interesting. I'm excited. I'll just be honest. I'm excited.
I'm excited to see what they actually have.
Yeah.
What they actually have. People before, a lot of people in the comments, they have nothing. They have something. There ain't 23 charges with nothing. They ain't doing that on circumstantial or we think no, they have something. Or at least they think they do. So
it will be interesting to kind of like go back through the podcast and be like, okay, he said this, but the state is saying this, and they proved it this way. And it's like, if he does go on podcast, that would be such an interesting conversation to like get like an unhinged version of like his rebuttal towards all these. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That would be crazy.
Yeah.
That would be crazy. You can see it on the courtroom in late May. It sounds like his unhinged rebuttal, which, yeah. There is no more rebuttaling at this time. I mean, he I guess before the trial he could come and rebuttal. If he has a lawyer, I don't think he's going to be doing any of that.
I think he's going to be tight-lipped right now.
But, well, he's not tight-lipped on Instagram right now.
That is true. That is true.
I
just think, man.
I think this could be one of the biggest poaching cases we ever see. I know it's one of the biggest deer I've ever seen in my life.
Well, that's the thing. Like, how many 230-inch deer are going to be able
230-inch typicals?
Yeah.
None. I think that's why.
Dude, that pisses me off so bad. So bad. Like, we go to all these places. We're like, okay, there's not deer here. Let's drive to the other side of the state, and let's try to go. That's how we kill big deer. And then a person like that, if he did it legal, don't mean nothing by it. But if he did it illegally, it's like you took that opportunity away from somebody.
Mm-hmm.
You took that opportunity away. That could be that is a life-changing opportunity.
That could change somebody's life. Yeah.
And it's just like gone because someone wanted to be like
Greedy.
The scum of the earth. But speculating people. So
allegedly
speculating, however you want to word it.
I just don't see like how you get that feeling because I've seen like when J Rod and I were driving up to Kansas one time to go on a duck hunt, I saw a mega giant, and I was like, oh man, if I just were to turn my wheel like just a little bit, I'd be pretty popular.
There's a difference on
dude.
I'd be pushing the gas hard.
I'd be a pretty popular dude. But just even like, I mean, this deer was huge. I couldn't tell you, but I saw him. Was like, I'll never see a deer bigger than that.
Booner?
The 170s?
I think even bigger than that.
Goodness.
One of those ones that's so big, you're like, Huge.
Yeah.
I carry full coverage for a reason.
Yeah.
And that's
but
the
he was
reason.
on the side of the road and we drove past, and I was just because Jared was already asleep, and I was like, yeah, that was a big deer. That was I'll never see a deer like that. And even I just drove by and was like, that was cool, but I just don't see. Maybe 230 inches. What I think about it,
But-
maybe. But no, I still
Think of it from a financial standpoint. You know what I mean? Because like he even said, and I'm not saying anything bad, but what did he make, like $4,000 that year before prior?
Oh yeah, it's like 8K.
Yeah, it was like $8,000 the whole year.
Yeah.
And so if he sees that, it just might be a money thing. You know what I mean? Like he feels like this is his last
It's a
resort.
Willy
or
Wonka
something
golden
like that.
ticket.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
with
was gonna
horns
say,
attached to it.
Bass, even just Bass Pro would probably be like, we'll give you
Oh.
hundreds of thousands of dollars, and just to let us use
I
a
wonder
replica.
what Dustin Huff sold his buck for.
I don't know. I don't think it's public either. But yeah, I remember Johnny King talking about what they were going to pay. Like they said they were going to make millions of dollars off of the Johnny King buck in year one because they were going to bring it to Bass Pro and use it for merchandise and all that sort of stuff. But it is legitimately, like, think about the outdoor industry, how much content and work and networking you can do to still have a very average following or a very average life. That one of those bucks represents a literal ticket to number one overnight. Like, you want to be sponsored by Realtree? You're going to be sponsored by Realtree if you do it legit. You want to shoot Savage, like you want to shoot this crossbow or this bow or wear this camo or work for this company? Awesome. You're the biggest thing in the outdoors. That temptation has never walked in front of me, but I couldn't imagine if it did. That's you put that.
But you wouldn't poach it.
I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't. No. But that'd be the hardest temptation you've ever looked at in your life.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
if anything, I would just be pissed that I didn't get a picture of it or a video of it because it's like no one's going to believe this shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, nobody's gonna believe it. Yeah, my dad said that he drove through Kansas one time and said there was like an old barn 30 yards off the road, and there was like a 180, 190-inch deer just standing there right off the side of the road.
Should have went live
One
on
day.
TikTok.
Oh, yeah. Yep. There have been a lot of TikToks on there. A lot of TikTokers.
Anyways, sorry.
I think, but yeah, that's, is there anything else to say? It's,
God bless them. And all. I mean, still through this, I hope for the just for the deer's sake, I hope it's legit. But in my opinion, this doesn't mean anything. I'm not saying this. I'm not accusing. I'm not doing anything. In my opinion, I do think he did. He poached it.
I think all roads lead to that at this moment.
Yeah.
If you're still sitting back defending him with those level of charges and all the stuff, it's like, okay, you better be his mom or someone that's like, I believe in you. You didn't do it. I'm not a genius, but it sure looks like it. It
Carroll?
sure looks like it. What do you think?
From the situation, I hope that they just don't completely ruin this guy's life. But I hope that
You're having mercy now?
It's a
I know
number
what I'm saying.
3
I'm saying,
deer, dude.
I hope that they do enough that it sets an example. Like, he probably won't be hunting again.
No.
He won't be hunting
That's
again.
out of the question.
But I hope that, do I hope that the guy goes to prison? I don't know how the laws are going to work. I hope that he doesn't go to prison for 10 years and it just, turns this guy's life upside down. But I hope that they do enough. If he is guilty, I hope they do enough that sets an example to people to be like, yeah, don't
But
do
it's
this.
a federal offense.
Is it a federal or is it just a felony?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I probably commit a felony every day, though. Just joking. But
Allegedly.
But like I said, it's kind of one of those things, in my heart, where, I hope they get his ass, but, not enough to the guy just,
Well, I think worse. I don't know about worst case, but at a minimum, it's the state's going to get their money, right? Restitution's not an option. That's going to happen.
yeah.
But and as for the hunting license thing, he's probably not going to be able to hunt again.
Heavy lies the crown.
Yeah.
If you do anything at the top, if I went and shot a 450-inch elk,
Shouldn't it even be fraud too, though? Because if he did it for the money, which is probably why he did it.
Oh yeah,
For the money.
They're getting all
Couldn't
that
that
back.
be considered like fraud in a way? Because it's like you're trying to scam people of their money, basically.
Well, they're gonna get their money back. I guarantee every penny he's ever made is gonna go back. And I don't even know what he's made money on. But Yeah,
Crazy stuff, man.
it's wild.
Let us know in the comments what you guys think. Do you think he did it? Do you think these are just
I can already read you the first comment.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, no crap, buddy. If you don't,
I know.
It's
but
just such a weird situation because you think a deer is a deer, doesn't matter how big of a rack it has. Like, the value of the animal should not change
based on the rack.
based on the rack, but it does.
Yeah.
Like, which is, it's really crappy. Like, would they do all this for a doe? No.
No, if I said my buddy shot a forky and he poached it with a crossbow, I'd be like, sweet, he's a dick. You know,
Yeah.
and then move
But
on.
like, it shouldn't. But it's just it's crazy to think. Like, it really bothers me. Like, how much it matters when at the end of the day it shouldn't. But but it's just to get the idea
Oh, it
across. Of
matters.
like, yeah, because like people are going to do it to the bigger deer. Like, if people are gonna do it, they're gonna do it to the bigger deer. So you have to put a stop to it.
you're gonna have to make an example, or
Yeah.
else, like, if it's like a slap on the wrist situation where it's like, oh, you pay restitution, which what did he say? Restitution is going to be like $30,000 or something like that.
Something, yeah.
Then, if you don't make an example, more people's going to do it.
Yeah. Yep.
And you got to do it on the big ones. You got to
Yeah,
do it on the big ones.
You got to make it worth your while, apparently.
Well, and the thing is, too, like, that's what makes it even more ironic when somebody poaches, but they don't poach on the big ones. It's like, dude,
What are you doing?
You're going to get destroyed for this. Like, what?
Yeah. If you're gonna do it, at least make it worth your while. You know what I mean?
Gosh, dude. That's one of those things, though. But if you do something on something that big, like we talked about, how people are tribal and they're communal and they want to share things, that would be another reason I couldn't and wouldn't do something like that. Would be like, no, I'm not shooting a deer this big and not showing nobody.
Yeah.
I'd have that skull cap in my car. I'd be at the gas station just like,
Hey, bud, want to see a deer?
Yeah.
want to see a big one?
Yeah, I would get a replica. I'd 100% like get replicas of it.
Immediately.
Yeah, and just be like, in case anything happens, a house fire or anything, like
Yeah.
I've got it.
They
I've
have
got
that Digiscan stuff now where they can come in and like scan your deer and they have like the exact measurements in like a 3D scan. So if you
crazy.
ever lose them, they can make you a replica.
Could
like,
you imagine
to the
having
in-
like
to
all
the
your
eighth of an
deer
inch.
like on like little hard
Thumb drive?
drivers? Yeah,
that'd
thumb
be
drive.
awesome. Which I have every deer I've ever shot, so you could just bring the Euros and be like, scan that. I mean, that's cool. That'd be really cool. CJ should have done that before he took his first one. He's got a thumb drive. He's like, doesn't matter, buddy.
Yep.
Got it right here. He makes one out
Back
of
in the house next week.
an HP printer, prints him one out.
Start selling replicas to all the antler collectors.
Oh, that's funny. I think we talked about that one enough.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's where we're at with it. And I guess if people want to learn more, they can go read the Outdoor Life article. There's several other ones out. I think North American Whitetail wrote one, and then obviously the case is coming up in late May. We don't have any details on that. If you live in Southwest Ohio, you can probably drive to your courthouse and figure that one out. But I don't know how all that works. We're not lawyers, but that's what we know. That's our opinion. I think there's gonna be a lot of people going back listening to the first podcast that we did with them.
Well, there's already, and I think you said this in the beginning, but we've had 12 comments since that Outdoor Life article came out.
Like, this didn't age well.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I didn't say